In 2020, Ben Sinnott joined the Kansas State football program as a walk-on, and in the years since saw his role blossom from fullback and special teamer into all-conference tight end. With his college career in the books and the draft fast approaching, just what does the future hold for Ben Sinnott? We'll see on this 2-minute drill. Ben Sinnott's greatest strength is the incredible versatility he brings to the offense. He's lined up a great deal as a traditional tight end in line, in the backfield as a fullback, in the slot, and even on the outside as a wide receiver. But he hasn't just played snaps in each position, he's excelled in them. Whether he's being utilized as a catch-and-run threat or carrying defenders downfield on deep routes, there really isn't a spot where Sinnott isn't at least a decent threat. Sinnott's great flexibility in his ankles and hips does let him quickly adjust himself while blocking, but it was primarily of use letting him make quick motions to create separation for himself as a receiver. He also showed a real knack for locating the soft spots in zone coverage and parking himself there, quietly waiting behind the defense for the ball to come his way. Lastly, Sinnott really played the ball well through the air with a great sense of timing for just when he needed to turn around and ready himself to make the catch. While his work as a receiver is very well rounded, Sinnott does have a serious flaw in his game: his blocking. It's not that he's a terrible blocker, but there's a noticeable lack of urgency that doesn't show up in his work as a receiver. When blocking inline, he has a tendency to be slow off the snap, giving up some ground and merely sustaining instead of creating openings. As a fullback, the burst that's present in his receiving work is conspicuously absent, with a considerable number of poor angles in which he was beat almost immediately. These are fixable issues, but they'll likely take time to be ironed out and could limit his snaps a bit early on. Sinnott could also stand to work on his physicality, specifically in how he boxes out defenders at the catch point. My comparison for Sinnott is former Ravens tight end and sometimes fullback Dennis Pitta. Like Sinnott, Pitta was more of a focused receiving tight end than a blocking one, with a very similar athletic profile and usage in a wide variety of spots in the Brigham Young offense. The only major differences between the two are that Sinnott is much thicker through his torso than Pitta, likely carrying more potential as his blocking develops, and their ages. Pitta was a fifth-year senior with a 2-year mission trip under his belt and entered the NFL at 25, while Sinnott is just about to turn 22. I think Sinnott would fit just about any team or scheme in the NFL, with his early role likely being an understudy second tight end and sometimes fullback before completely taking over as a number 1 tight end a year or two down the line. I'm a big fan of Sinnott myself and wouldn't be surprised to see him go as high as top 50 in this draft. And that's the 2-minute drill.